Het Kappitel Dubbel.
Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. The postman came today and he brought me a delivery from Beers of Europe, and it was just in the nick of time as well, because I was starting to get down to the last dregs in the fridge. And among the stuff that I got was this one. This is the Het Kappitel Dubbel from the Van Eyck Brewery. Now, the Van Eyck Brewery are based in a place called Watou, which is right on the French border, French-Belgian border. That is in West Flanders, and it's the hop growing region of Belgium. And if that name Watou sounds familiar, that's because the St Bernardus Brewery are there as well. Remember the St Bernardus Brewery? They do a really good Vit, and they do a double and triple as well. You know, you must have seen them. It's got the... Have I got a bottle? I've got a bottle here somewhere, but I'm not going to dig it out. It's buried under there somewhere, but you've seen them before. But they're based in the same town, and Watou is the town. And the Van Eyck Brewery are the other brewery that's there. And this is the Het Kappitel. This was first brewed in 1950, so it's relatively young. And it's putting on a facade of it being an Abbey beer. They do call it an Abbey beer, but it's not really an Abbey beer, if you know what I mean. It hasn't got the official Trappist sign on the side of it to give it the rubber stamp saying it's a Trappist beer. And it's funny, the St Bernardus Brewery do that as well. There's no connection of them ever being Abbey Brewery or a Trappist brewery anyway, but for some reason, for marketing purposes, they like putting this on here for some reason, I don't know. But I'll tell you something, they don't half look happy, that lot. I don't know whether this is a recruiting poster for being a monk, but they look happy. Not sure I'd want to be a monk, to be perfectly honest with you, but that's just me. And they've been going since the 1800s, this lot, the Van Eyck Brewery, and they produce a double, they produce a triple, and they produce a blonde as well. This, even though they do produce them, the bottling is not done in the brewery. They have to go to a different region to actually bottle it, and that is in a place called Bozinga, or Bozinga. I'm not sure how to pronounce that in Flemish, but it's not too far away. But they've basically outgrown their premises, and the bottling has to be done elsewhere. Don't know whether that's going to affect the taste or not, but let's investigate and see. Right, 330ml bottle, and it is 7.5%. There is the front of the label. I just showed you that. Here's another gander at it. Take a look at that. Here's the back. As you can see, no rubber stamp for it being an official Abbey beer. Cap is just plain red, metallic red. I used to have an old Honda CB500, and it was in a similar colour to that. Those were the days. I ratted it up. Some woman drove into me and I damaged the fairing, so I just painted it all black. Turned it into a rat bike. What a fucking bike that was. That was great. I sold it to a Yorkshireman, believe it or not, and he paid full price. Didn't try to knock me down, which is unusual for an Yorkshireman, but he used it for track days, and he said it was the fastest bike he'd ever ridden, fastest CB500 he'd ever ridden, and that's because I'd done a few things to it, and honestly, it was like shit off a shovel. I loved riding that bike. It was great. Biggest mistake was selling it. Anyway, enough about that. Let's get this beer open. Now this just came in today and it is just about the right temperature. So I'm not going to hang about gassing. Whoa, that is lively. That is super lively. Now you've got to remember these beers undergo a secondary fermentation in the bottle. They use candy sugar, which is a kind of non-refined sugar that is unique to Belgian beer. I sort of went through this before in a couple of videos. The British use invert sugar. It's not the same thing. The candy sugar is actually caramelised and they treat it in another way and then they feed it or put it into the bottle for a secondary fermentation. That makes the ABV higher and it also agitates the yeast, which naturally carbonates it. And it's unique to Belgian beer, the candy sugar. The British do a similar thing, as I say, with the invert sugar or cane sugar as they call it, but it is not the same as the stuff the Belgians use. So what are we getting on the nose before I pour the whole lot in? Quite nice. Dried fruit, caramel malt. Yeah, caramel malt and dried fruit really. And not a lot else. But it smells nice. I must say the aromas aren't massive in it. You know, I've had other doubles before and the aromas have been absolutely huge. Specifically the Vesmal. I mean, that double is super strong in the aroma. But as I always say, the proof is in the tasting. There it is in the glass. 1 finger foamy, no, 1.5 finger foamy whitehead. It's like a deep chestnut colour. That is murky. Cannot see through that at all. Looks really nice. Looks like a typical Belgian double. Let's get it down the hatch. Bottoms up. Oh, cool. Oh, there's something going on with that. That is super sour. And not in a good way. Oh. Wasn't getting that in the aroma at all. There's something dodge going on with this. Very sour indeed. And it shouldn't be like that. I think this is going to get the fucking Spanish Archer elbow. God, blimey. Now don't get me wrong, I love my sour beers, but a double is not what I'd be expecting to drink when I had sour beers in mind. I'd be expecting sweetness, if anything else, and big caramel malt, and I'm not getting that at all. And now, yeah, I am getting that. I'm getting a slight sourness from it. It's like an apple sourness. Carbonation is wild on that. I'm gonna try once more, but I'm not sure about this. I'm really not sure about this. I don't know, it's like a car crash. I don't want to look, but I have to look, but I want to taste it. No, it's not good. It really is not good. I'm sure something has gone wrong with that. No, I don't like this. There's something not right. That sourness shouldn't be there. Not if it's a double. And it's like an apple sourness. And it could potentially be something with the yeast, an infection in the yeast, a yeast infection. Fucking hell. One day I'll grow up. But a double, from my experience, should be sweet with caramel malt, dried fruit, maybe a little bit of bitterness on the finish, quite highly carbonated. That is just sour from start to finish, and it's not a nice kind of sour. Now, don't get me wrong, I've tried Belgian red ale and all that, and that is sour. That's a sour beer. I love it. It's really nice. There's something not right. So what's the verdict on Het Kappitel Watou Dubbel? Not good. It just has this sourness that shouldn't be there, and that I'm assuming is down to the yeast. It's like an apple sourness. I've had that on British beer before. It's usually something down to the yeast. Something's gone wrong there, and it's turned the beer, and it just doesn't taste good. Now, I know you're supposed to get everything into the glass, and I did see some yeast sediment going in there, but nah, I don't like it. It's not how it should taste. I'm going to give it a 1 out of 10, and I can only go on what's been put in front of me, and that is not good. So that's getting a 1 out of 10. If you want to chance it, this could be just a rogue bottle or a rogue batch, but if you want to chance it, then be my guest. But a lot of the time, unless I know the brewery, I don't want to give them a second chance. That's that may sound harsh, but no, I'm not going to try this again. You had your chance and you fucked it. 1 out of 10, not recommended. And remember, I'm drinking that shit, so you don't have to.